Sequencing emotion in a delicate formation. Numerology's wisdom is a language of vibration. Welcome to the Numerology Hour. Host Kelly Brickle is a numerologist, psychic medium, and teacher. Her passions are learning about the soul and energy. Whether it's working with spirit, emotion, or vibrational numbers, precision and heart always enters the equation. Now, here is your host of the Numerology Hour, Kelly Brickle.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Numerology Hour. Hello, hello. It is Wednesday. The week just flies by at the speed of light. And we are back for another show. Hello, everyone coming on in. Hello, Jody. Hello, Jennifer. Hello, hello. So, hello. Hi. I appreciate everyone coming on in. And so we talk about numbers here and we do number readings. That's the name of the game. So thank you for being with me. What I want to delve into is just talk more about numerical vibrations from the life path number standpoint. A lot of people are familiar with numerology. They know about the life path number, and they're really learning what that means because it's very simple, but also it's very specified. So the life path number is like astrology, our sun sign. I use that as an example a lot. I think it's very to the point, and it lets us know about where we're heading, what we're developing, and what we want our life ultimately to be. Do we always know that? No, but when we're in the vibration of, we feel very comfortable, we feel excited, and we feel very like we're home in a sense. We feel like we're developing. We feel like this is the right place. This is the right place. So when we find other people who have those numbers in their chart too, there is a sense of familiarity. There is a sense of, wow, I really like how this person does life. And again, they might have a completely different life path number than you, but they have that same number in a certain placement. So it makes you go, yes, they feel great. They're like me, or wow, they're different from me, but they do life like that. How fantastic is that? So Jody says she's a life path 3. And so with being a life path 3, you're going to naturally really gravitate to wanting to have a life that helps you express yourself, because 3 is all about expression, being seen and heard. And a lot of people that have 3s, life path 3s, and I would have to look at your overall chart and everything. They are not always comfortable with being out in the spotlight or, going first and just going, yeah, let me talk. Let me go do this. Let me go do that. No problem. I'm not even thinking about if that's embarrassing or not. Sometimes the 3s have to develop that. Now, if you have other 3s in your chart, you'll develop more of it and you'll go, I've always been this way. But if you do not have 3s within your chart or other supporting numbers, I know a lot of life path 3s where it wasn't until their 30s did they start feeling like, I like being in charge. I like leading the meetings. I like writing my own music. I like expressing myself. I like performing in front of people. I like putting myself out there. It's not always the case. It's not always the case. But the 3 ultimately, at the end of the day, is going to be most satisfied or find something about themselves when they are putting their work out for other people to see it. It could be, oh, forgive me, I'm tickling my nose. It could be, again, that you are supporting a company, you're part of a company, but you have to put yourself out there to then help the company succeed. So you could be like in HR, PR. You have to use yourself as a vehicle for the company to do its thing. So you're using your talents. It's very interesting. It always is. But the 3 has to not be in a cubicle. The 3 has to not be isolated. The 3 has to be around people. You have to be around people to be happy. Now, if you're life path 7, you do not have to be around people to be happy. You'll be burnt out. It's the opposite. It's definitely the opposite. Okay, so do you understand that? Like, a life path 2 needs a job, maybe a little bit more stable. Definitely a life path 4. A life path 5, if the job's too consistent, they will get bored. Okay, so it's basically certain energies just want to learn how to express itself. And you're saying, and so hello, Nikki, hello. And then Jody, you said, yep, I've noticed this, and I'm only 36. In the past couple years, I'm finding about myself properly. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's not gonna be like, oh, I was born into this and I just embody this. Life path is you're learning how to be, and you're gonna be very much finding about yourself along the way, but it's going to be like a good realization, even though it might be difficult. You'll be like, I think this is the way. It feels more healthy. It feels like I'm more integrated. Okay, so it's not just a curiosity. All right, Jody, what are your numbers? Let me look at your numbers too, because we talked about how it's like growing for you rather than natural. If you want, you can pop them down. You said, though, you have a question. And hello, really quick, Michael Christopher. Hello, Michael. Hello, hello, hello. It's always great to see you. Jody, you asked, is date of birth numbers? I think that's what you mean. It's date of birth numbers added. Yeah, correct. Yes, that is your life path number. So it's exactly what you put down. And then you would add it up into a single digit. So like, let's say you got a 22, you just do 2 plus 2 is 4. Yes, it's a master vibration because it's a repeating number, but ultimately it's just a single digit, 1 through 9. Exactly. All right. So 5/8, 1988. Let's look at it. All right, life path 3, right? And then I just want to see what cycle you are in. Oh, interesting, fun. Okay, so you are an attitude 4 and a personal day 8. Again, I'd have to look at more stuff going on to really like pinpoint, but it shows me right away that yeah, you actually would not gravitate to this in life naturally, because you have some really good balancing numbers and they work very differently than those social, outgoing, like I'm gonna put myself out there numbers. Oh, and you put Aquarius moon. Oh, I love how you put in your astrology too. Aquarius moon, Capricorn rising, and Taurus. So you have very like interesting, you have a very sturdy energy, but then at the same time, you're not super emotional with the way that you come off. It's funny because your numerology matches some aspects of that. Numerology and astrology really support each other in a lot of ways. It's quite fascinating. So it's funny because your Capricorn rising, and I think you said your Taurus life path, I think your Taurus sun, I'm guessing you put Taurus sun. But your attitude 4 and your personal day 8 will make you seem kind of like that earthy Capricorn, like kind of serious. And, you know, you size situations up and you're like, what about this? What about this? And sometimes people can see you as being really, you're like, I don't know much about it, but I enjoy learning about it. Absolutely. Sometimes people can see you as being overtly serious. And, you know, you don't have that like super creative burst right away and you'd surprise people. But with your Aquarius moon, it's showing me that you see things very uniquely. And so you can kind of say, an off the beat joke and catch people off guard and be like, oh, wow, okay, wow, you do have a sense of humor. Wow, you see it in such a unique way. You see it in such a different way. And then that part intrigues people. So like creativity and how you share yourself, it doesn't have to be ever one size fits all. It can be from a very unconventional place. You have tremendous work ethic, but you come in with a very unique personality, and that would intrigue people. It really would. Okay, yeah, thank you for letting me know that. So, yes, use your differences to help intrigue people and know that at the end of the day, people will respond very well to that because you're like a contradiction at times. If you can understand that, you come across as serious, but actually you're quite wacky in the best way. And I kind of just want to highlight that because that's how we come out of our shell. You're life path 3. So it's all about, well, what do we want to share? And so you're learning how to do that more and more. And we have to share ourselves. Even if we're working with a project or an item or a belief, we have to share ourselves because we're the ones that with our own story and our own energy help to catapult what we're doing. And because people then respond to us through that. So I think this is like important to talk about within your energy because like I really go and gravitate there first. You have a question. Can you change certain things about yourself if it's set in your chart? I always intrigue people. LOL. Yes, that's your good. Yes, you will continue to intrigue people. Absolutely. So yes. In numerology, that's one of the really fascinating things. You can change your chart because you can change your name. So when I look at people's numbers really quickly, I'm looking at your date of birth and little aspects with your date of birth. But when I'm looking at an overall chart, I'm looking at date of birth and name and how those things go together. And from both of those numbers, I can get some other equations going. So you can change your name. You can change your last name. You can change your first name. And that completely changes your chart. Absolutely. Your birthday numbers you will always have. So you'll have some aspects you just can't change. But it's fascinating. A lot of times with business numerology or relationship numerology, we really look at names and fine tune them and really, really, really fine tune them because some people have nicknames and some people have, and it has to be a prominent one. Some people have a different public persona than they do in their personal persona. And depending on how you use your energy and how you use your name with the people that you are around, that is how your energy works. So yes, it gets very technical numerology with that. And also you have the power to actually pick your persona with how a really good portion of your energy works. It's very empowering from a numerological and life standpoint. Absolutely. Yep. Exactly. We were talking about that earlier. Just validating. I'm coming up to speed with your comments as I was talking. You're born exactly at midnight. Oh, that's cool. Oh, so it could be close to the 7th or 8th. Interesting. Well, let's kind of help break it down a little bit. This would take a little bit more fine tuning, but I'll just put out some ideas. If you're born on the 7th, you would have energy emanating from you where people actually would give you space a lot. They would give you space a lot because they would acknowledge your mental energy and they would acknowledge that you shouldn't be overwhelmed because you're busy thinking about things. You might have been more of a wallflower because of this, because you're off minding your own business because people are giving you wide space sometimes. In relationships, especially people would expect sometimes you to approach them or not know how to approach you. They gave you, again, the distance. People assume that you're smart. Okay. These are all like very generic things at play. Okay. If you were born on the 8th, people gravitate to you naturally, even if you don't realize it. A lot of times the 8s don't always realize it unless they're very very people savvy at times. But the 8 gravitates people to you, but it creates dynamics of respect, sometimes envy. It actually will amplify your emotional state. So if you're doing really, really well, people go, wow, what a strong person. And again, they respect you and they go, that's a leader, or that's a sturdy person. Or if you're not doing well, if you're sad, or let's say you're angry, wow, that person has made an impression of me, but that's an unstable person. So you will actually get a lot of polarized responses, but the ones that you do get, you will notice they're more exaggerated with how people respond to you. Okay. You're also more likely to get positions of status. People will offer you management. People will offer you leadership roles. Again, people will be impressed or compliment you when you do very well. And you're saying, I'm more like that. Yeah. See, so you're true to your birth date. You're true to your birth date. It's something that I'm really studying too for all the numerology people who are really technical. I know some people are like, what? When I talk about these things, unless they're like really, really curious. But I've done a lot of discussion. I'm trying to continue to do discussion, but I've done discussion with people who are born like exactly on midnight, or let's say their birth certificate, they're like their mom wasn't sure about something, so they might be one number off. And it's interesting because the people usually embody the archetype that they've been given. So if they've been told they are born on the 8th, they embody the 8th. If they've told they've been born on the 4th, they embody the 4th. And so I do see that actually much more than I got the wrong number. And so it makes me really curious on how mutable what we are told and who we are based on what we're told. I hope that makes sense. Who we are based on what we're told. It's very, very, very fascinating. Or, for however it goes, we could have just been on the right side of the cusp. Yes, I'm more like this. Something I'm continually investigating. But as you can understand, yes, there's one where you go, I'm more like that. And that's how we try to pinpoint it. Okay. So, everyone, I'm going to open up the space for readings. If anyone wants a reading, pop down your numbers. Jody, if you'd like to ask kind of something, I was just bouncing around in your chart talking about things, but if you want a specific question, Jody, let me know, because I'll go to that really quick. And then everyone else who's in the house, I see like Nikki, all the J's, Nikki, Jamie, Sylvia, Jennifer, Michael, everyone here. Pop down your birth date. And if you'd like a general, let me know. And if you have a specific question, let me know. All right. Okay. So Jody, I'm going to jump to somebody else if you don't have a question. If not, maybe that is all that it's needed. Okay. Let's see here. So I'm going to go to Nikki. And please, what helps me to go right to you if you put down your birth date in the comments. That just lets me like beeline to you because I have the information that I need. Okay. All right. So Nikki. Thank you, Jody. I kind of figured, but thank you, Jody. Absolutely. All right. So Nikki. Just getting your numbers. So attitude 2, personal day 8. You have a personal day like Jody. You vibe on that level. And then you're going to be a life path 5 as well. Just double checking the math. Attitude 2, personal day 8, and this is why I check the math. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So here we go. Nikki, do you have any questions? If not, I'm just going to do a general. All right. So, Nikki, you have, anytime I see someone with an attitude 2, I know right away that they have a very sensitive nervous system and they have a very good BS meter and they can pick up on people very, very naturally. Okay. So it's almost like whenever you meet somebody, you're kind of, whether you're even trying to, like, it's great information. So you'd enjoy it, I would imagine sometimes, whereas you're just like, this is just who I am. But even if you're not even trying, you'll pick up on somebody's emotional state. Like, wow, they feel uneasy today. They feel angry today. They feel happy today. When you're meeting somebody for the first time, you can like get a sense of if they're a good person or if they're trustworthy or the qualities of who they are. That's something that comes out because you just feel things off of people and environments, and because of that, like people actually really do trust your opinion at times when they come to you and they're like, I want like kind of your take on things. I notice that you approach life in a different way, and I notice that you like process things in a different way, like you're very thoughtful, and so it cultivates trust a lot of times with people around you with some of these sensitive topics. Okay. And again, it has to be friends that obviously notice things about you, but once they do, they go, wow, okay. All right, I see that. All right. Not everybody would know that about you. And I feel like you say very true. I feel like not everyone would know that about you because within your chart, you have aspects where you don't always show this to other people. Like you'll kind of hide it at times. And sometimes you can come across as very spontaneous and very just to the point. And you don't, to some people, they wouldn't know you're that sensitive because you're like, I'm fun, or I'm working right now, or away I go, and I'm so like restless at times you wouldn't know how sensitive I am. So you have a 2 and a 5, and so your 5 will give you that restlessness. That's your life path number. Okay, and so it calls you to be sometimes bored in order to push yourself, in order to keep moving, and you're always kind of just like, I need to be doing something, I need to be doing something, and that is on a level where you need to leave the house. Okay, you need to be outside of the house. You're like, I do not hide that. Okay, yeah. Well, the 5 like creates this, I need to be doing something, right? And then you get kind of annoyed if you're not. So so again, people wouldn't know all the other parts that get stimulated in just who you are. But with the 5, right, you need to be at the house and you need to be traveling to be fulfilled. You need to be trying different things. And with job always, you need to be job jumping or hopping every like 3 or 4 years or doing something different. So you go, now, I get to live life and I'm going to connect this experience to this experience. And you say, yep, that's me. Low. It helps keep the juices flowing per se, right? So never let yourself be complacent, especially within your job, because you have to grow, you have to move, you have to learn, and your body demands it. Okay. And with 2, the attitude 2, just heads up, like even though you're always on the go, since you have a very sensitive nervous system, you have like opposite rules kind of going on. Acknowledge your need for adventure, acknowledge your need for the movement, even if it's like something smaller, not as ambitious, but really, really take care of yourself while you're doing it, or you will shut down and then you'll be like, oh my gosh, I feel like I overdid it. Plus, I wish I could go out, and now I can't do both because I overdid it. Okay. So with the 2, you have to look at sleep a little bit differently at times and food a little bit differently at times, where if you are just burning both ends of the candle, your body will pay for it. Okay. So you You have to look into some health and wellness. And once that's balanced, you can go and be your tornado or your adventurous self again in fun and unusual ways. Okay, so that comes up, and that is very important to talk about. Really focus on health and wellness. Okay, cool. Cool. And they will stimulate one another. So if you're focusing on health and wellness, but you're not doing enough things, you will get emotionally womp and like depressed. But if you're doing a lot of stuff and then you're not working on your physical health, you will just immobilize yourself. So both have to happen, and you need to find that really nice balance. And then emotionally and physically, you'll be honestly in great shape and way more energetic than people your age, and you'll continue to be like that. Okay. And you said, that's me and Jody. That's why me and Jody get on so well. You and Jody get on so well because, you have really complementary numbers. So I looked at like 1 per second, but you have very complementary numbers. So your attitude numbers are in harmony. And so you'll communicate very well. Like you could say the weirdest thing, and Jody will be like, I know what you meant. And Jody could say the weirdest thing to you, and you'd be like, oh, I get it. Okay. And so with you, like Jody will say the weirdest thing, Nikki, and you'll like feel it at times, and you're like, oh, I felt it like that. And Jody will be like, well, yeah, that's what I was going for. But yeah, like that's in the same vein. Sure. Like, And then when you say things to Jody, Jody will grab the idea and just be like, yeah, that's what I was going for. Like, I didn't really think about it like that, but yeah, that's what I'm going for. And so even though you intuitively know what each other is saying and you feel very supported, you'll kind of like process it from different angles. You will feel what she's saying, and she will intellectualize what you're saying. If that makes sense. I don't know if you've ever observed that, but it sure as heck is going on. Okay. But ultimately you'll be like, I don't have to say much and this person understands me. And that is one of the most fantastic experiences to have with a friend. If you have harmonious communication numbers, like with a relationship, a friend, a family member, it feels like I have my person. Like I can be the goofiest and we're good. It's awesome. You have the same personal day numbers. So when you look at one another, you see yourself in each other rather easily. And when you've met each other for the first time, whether it's like, I don't know if you met online or in person, but I know you're friends now. But like when you met yourself for the first time, there was an acknowledgement of, okay, yeah, this is a person where I respect. There was, again, similar energies. And when you size each other up, like, okay, all right. Like, all right, I'm okay with this person. I'm okay with this person. Let's see more of who they are, but I'm okay with this person. And then you have the life path 5, and she has the life path 3. And those are, again, very harmonious numbers, not as much as your communication numbers, but they're very harmonious numbers because they allow you each to kind of have fun, and it gives you kind of permission to be wacky and goofy and adventure and kind of fly by at the seat of your pants. Like you egg each other on. Okay, because you both like to kind of be silly and unbridled. And the 3 and the 5, those are the numbers in numerology who don't take themselves seriously. Like everyone takes themselves seriously, don't get me wrong, but they're the most fun loving numbers. So they're just like, let's do it. Life's too short. The 3s and the 5s, that's them. And so, yeah, when you are together, you're kind of crazy, but you respect both one enough where within your mind and your values, you don't push it to ever a level that you find is disrespectful. You know, you guys have very good judgment. You respect each other's judgment regarding how you treat other people and yourselves. So, yes, see, there you go. I felt it. Exactly. And you said so true. All right. So this is why you get along. It's no surprise. And so as you're supporting each other as friends with Jody, she's really coming into a deeper understanding of who she is and what she wants, especially in a career place. And with you, Nikki, you have really shed a lot of old stuff last year, the last 2 years. It's been a journey really for the last 3 and 4 years, but you've been really, really the last 2 years stepping up in that journey and saying, I am going to be this now. I have power. I have control. I get to figure out how my life is going. Okay. And that's like a total transformation of self. And so like you have made completely new decisions this year. If you can understand that, Nikki, which the thing you wanted to do things before, but you couldn't have done it before. And now you can do it. So last year, you're like, I need to invite new rules into my life. And this year you're actually playing by them. And it hasn't always been easy. Like as we got into September, if you can understand, it's kind of like, am I really the new me? Like if I was the new me, I wouldn't have come, across this problem. I wouldn't have come across this anxiety. But yeah, you are. It's just in life, nothing's 100%. We're human. We have to learn even when we got it right. We have to learn even when we feel confident and we feel like we've changed. We're still learning, and we still get the test of, great, you are this way right now. So I'm going to give you an obstacle. I'm going to give you a lesson, and it will help to ensure that you're still this way right now. And so that doesn't mean we aren't this way or the things aren't working. It just means, wow, I'm getting now things to reaffirm who I am from a different angle. So that was awesome. Thank you. How brilliant and beautiful, blessed to have you as a friend, Nikki. It's awesome. I lost my mom 2 years ago. That would definitely usher in, I have to be different. I have to be different. And also usher in some health changes too because of that. I'm aware of some self-awareness and health changes that had to come into play. Had to find myself and as my mom, had to find myself as my mom was my world. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Gave up work and became my son's caretaker. Those are a lot of different dynamics. It's, if you can understand this, Nikki, like even though these are very selfless things that you're doing, you want to be doing these things. So like, even though you gave up your career and you're focusing on your son, it so deeply fulfills you. If you can understand that, Nikki, you're finding your balance, but this is something where you feel like, I'm meant to do this. I'm meant to do this. And this is what feels right and the best for me as we continue to figure out how I can care for him the best way that I can. If you can understand that, Jody says blessings in disguise. So there's an aspect, and then you just let me know if I'm wrong. You let me know if I'm right. There's an aspect in that though, that it's letting you deeply be connected to who you are in the best way possible, even if it's through caretaking for another. I couldn't return to work after I lost my mom as I was training for a new job. And I do feel like work's important, but sometimes work isn't the most important thing for our soul. Sometimes the work will distract us from our soul. So what's going on right now with you taking a step back from work and helping your son, it is reaffirming things of what you needed to look at for a very long time. And it is creating strength within you, like a lot of spiritual strength and emotional certainties. So there's a lot in this year. You're like, I'm definitely finding myself now. Yeah, there's a lot in this year where blessings in disguise, but then the disguises are falling away and there's actually a lot of blessings. I will say this, even though it's been very, very, very difficult, it does feel like honestly a very good year. A very good year, and it will continue to transform to next year. And it's going to be all about finding about love and loving yourself and what you need to do to really heal some things from the past, as well as things that are going on right now, and feel like you have the tools. I'm going to give you a lot of love within that, and it's just so cool that the both of you have a friendship where you can be there for one another. Nikki's truly rising into herself, and Jody is too. And so you're doing it from very different angles, but you're cheering each other on as you're doing it. I have old energy to get rid of. You're doing it actually actively right now, though. You're doing it wonderfully actively right now, and you'll continue to do it next year and gangbusters. So, blessings to you. I'm sorry to hear about your mom's passing. Continue to make the decisions where you are playing by rules that you never dared to play by, whether it's treating yourself, whether it is going to a different place in town, whether it's acting a certain way, whether your day is completely different. Play by the rules that you never ever played by before, and make sure you continue to cultivate the ones that are the most self-loving so you can choose to live your life. Okay, so I'm going to give you a lot of love again. Hugs to Nikki and Jody. Thank you. And then I'm going to find some more numbers. Absolutely. Jody, there's a shift next year. I've been told, hang on tight. Yeah, it's going to be a big emotional shift. So as long as you're okay with going into your emotions, and that will stimulate all this stuff from the past, how you were raised, how you just feel about being you, and how you have choices in that. It's going to be very, very emotional, but very, very, very rewarding. Okay. Absolutely. All right. So please pop down your numbers. In spirit, are you still in the house? Your name is actually in spirit. Isabel, are you still in the house? Or Tanita? I'm seeing who's still here. Who is still here? Okay, Tanita. Absolutely, Jody. Okay, so in spirit, if you'd like a reading, pop down your numbers. I'm going to go Tanita and pop down your numbers, please. Okay. So Tanita, I will always go to you first if you pop down your numbers 90% of the time. So everyone looking for a reading, just know that. 6/13/1991. Attitude 6, personal day 4, life path 8. Let me just double check. This is why I double check. My brain is soupy sometimes. Okay, so personal day 4, attitude 1, and then life path 3. If you're off by a number, you're off. Okay, so Tanita, let me know if you have a question, because I'm just going to talk about your energy. Some people just want to hear about what their energy is like, and that's fine. But numerology can help stimulate a lot of energy for questions and things like that. So Tanita, let me know if you want a question. If not, I'm just going to do general. You have personal day 4, so there's a natural seriousness to you, even if you don't always feel that way. There's this nature where you come in and you're like really even keeled, and people will respond to you based on that. You will interview well and get jobs pretty consistently as long as you show up for the interview with that beautiful personal day 4. An attitude 1. makes you very stubborn. And I say that with a lot of love, but you know what you want. And someone could give you advice. And if it doesn't resonate, you're just like, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to do what I want. So the attitude 1 makes you, from a very young age, you're not afraid to go against the pack. Even if it causes ramifications, you go, oh, well, this is who I am. This is who I am. And you're like very, very stubborn. Yes. Yes. It's funny how those numbers go. I listen and ignore, sadly. Yes. Yes. Attitude 1. Attitude 1. The beautiful thing is you can inspire people very naturally to be themselves because you have that so strongly within you. And I always say to people, you know that something is going on in your life, or you know you have to do healing work if at ever time you go, I don't know what I want. I'm indecisive right now. I feel overwhelmed. That is always a really bad sign because an attitude 1 usually knows what they want. An attitude 1 usually just without problems goes, I'm going that way. So that's your sign. Got to take care of your body, got to do emotional healing, got to really, really take care of yourself if you ever feel that way. And you said, yep, I burn. I have told lots of people, look up or envy me. Yeah. Yep. And with your life path 3 as well, it's going to create a personality where you kind of like want, again, I'd have to look at more numbers, but you have numbers where it would create a personality where you like taking chances, you like taking risks, and you find yourself through that. Like you're very much somebody who's a little bit daring, a little bit flamboyant at times. And people like praise you for that. They go, wow, they're living life by this. And you have a youngness because of that, because life doesn't hold you down when it comes to making decisions for yourself. You have like a youthful enthusiasm, if you can understand this, Tanita. You said, yes, been lots of healing, lost dad this year, and boyfriend. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, this year is all about letting go of the former you. Okay. So when you get into 1s and 9s in numerology and your cycle is a 9 right now, it's basically like archetypically like death of self, and you've dealt with a lot of passings and they're very, very close to you. So there's going to be a completely different way and change of life. Okay. So unfortunately that's coming in a very heavy way, a very emotional way, but it is causing you to review your life of what you want, because even though you're very close to these people did enforce responsibility. These people did enforce, again, a certain way of life where you weren't always able to choose. As independent as you are, if you can understand this, as independent as you are, it didn't allow you to always have freedom. And so even though you wouldn't want to lose some of these people, especially in the way that it happened, you get to be free in a way where there's this like kind of spiritual unfoldment happening within you of, well, where do I go next? I get to choose. I said, yes, very independent, but learn to be very responsible. Yeah. And it's just, you don't have to play that way. You don't have to play quite that way. So the lovely thing about kind of some of the questions that you asked is this is an ending year for you. And next year you get to explore your new persona. We all have these cycles where we have to like bring in these fresh energies, and you have that for next year. And so that's always good to see in numerology when someone has gone through a breakup or gone through a loved one passing, especially in a relationship sense, because it basically gives you this energy to go, you get to move forward way quicker than you would have expected. It's like life goes, yes, let's have something new, rather than I have to tie up this and I have to look into that and I can't let them go. Your energy is in a very natural place to move on, as heavy and beautiful and meaningful as those relationships are. And you said, yes, tapping into a lot spirituality with the losses in my life. So this year, you're going to continue to like process and get ready, but it's happening very soon. So next year, you will start to move on and be open to even the notion of dating. I don't know if you will, but you're going to be open to the notion of it's time to live my life like that. So you're going to be kind of getting your brain ready for it. I see like getting up in the mornings early again, or having some type of purpose. It's almost like I get that stimulated back again. So I don't know if I have it right. It's either you've been waking up later, or when you wake up, you kind of, and understandable because you've had so much going on and so much loss, but you've been waking up and you don't exactly have a plan or purpose for the day. Next year, it goes back into, let's plan things out. I'm going to go get what I want. I'm going to go live my life. I'm going to go live my life because this is not it. So what do I want? So next year, there's a lot of those themes. And for the next 3 years, you're going to be in the realm, my love, of dating, adventure, exploration, whether you mean to or not. You might go to a spiritual retreat and then you bump into somebody that you just really vibe with, or you bump into a friend that knows somebody that they recommend for a date. Okay. But I really do feel like the next 3 years are going to usher in experiences where you're not done. And through other people and who you know, you're going to have a lot of chances to meet people. Yes, I would like to. And then you talk about your morning routine. Yeah, currently I want to sleep in. You're very correct. So next year, that's going to start lifting off. It's going to start lifting off. I encourage you next year, or to even plan. If you can only muster planning, then you'll only muster planning. But I encourage you to start planning next year, or actually doing, if you can, some spiritual retreats. Like really get in touch with nature. There's like this ode to walking on paths or hiking and being out in the nature and letting that heal you. And that's more in a solo way. And then the retreats and having some spiritual community and connection with helping to redefine how you go forward within your life in a much more meaningful way, because it's going to be different, and it's going to be a good different. You're going to be like, I haven't quite tapped into my spirituality in this way as much. And your partner is going to be spiritual as well. I don't think that you really let with your other partner. I think they had spirituality. I think you talked about that with them. I think they appreciated that and they honored that type of life, but you didn't necessarily live life like that, where that was a part of your dynamic. But this time around, it's going to be a very spiritually aware partner, and you get to enact that within your life. Okay, so go forward, heal. I really suggest right now, if you can, some type of art therapy or some type of things where you can express yourself and have cathartic release. There's a lot of release work that needs to happen. And I just keep seeing like colors, like there needs to be stimulation through colors in life, whether you're wearing colors, whether you're painting with colors, whether you're more in colorful environments. There has to be something to lift the mood and to bring the light back in. You have this very strong personality where even though you are hurting right now, you're so tenacious about life. You're so tenacious about life that you kind of just keep going. And it's just like, please, as you keep going, invite people, places, and things that are very colorful so they can stimulate your energy, because it will be much, much easier. And we are not made to heal alone. We are not made to grieve alone. You have to let the life in as you're grieving too as well. So I encourage that. But you're a powerhouse lady. You're a powerhouse lady, and you have all this natural you have all this natural generating energy, this natural vitality where you're not done by any means in the relationship department. You'll have a lot of people just naturally gravitate to you. They already do. Okay. So I'm going to give you a lot of love. Yes, need to get back into hiking. So that's validation. Absolutely. He was all over the show. Yes, he was all over the show. I don't know what that means, but you let me know what that means. Okay, perfect. Thanks so much. Okay, perfect. We'll bring some colors in. Yes, please. And I keep seeing reds and oranges for you, because why not? Okay. Lots of love. If you want, let me know what that one comment meant that I'm not sure of. Please let me know. And he was many religions, but he wasn't sure what he was following. So yes, I'm saying like you were able to talk about spirituality, he had interests, but it wasn't a life that you guys actively explored. It wasn't something that, like, spirituality was not a large part of the relationship, even though you could have spiritual conversations and you had somebody who was spiritually open-minded. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so the mental acknowledgement of spirituality was there, which is beautiful to have in a partner. But with the next phase, it's going to be a more actively spiritually lived. Like, I live by these principles. My spirit gravitates to this. Let's go do that. Yes, so you understand that. Thank you. All right, so I send you lots of love, Tanita, and thank you for helping me understand that comment. I appreciate it. Oh, Jennifer's giving a lot of love. Losing a parent and a partner is a pain I know too well. Sorry, Tanita. It's almost 2 years since losing my partner of 26 years and almost 7 since losing my mom. Jennifer is a wonderful healing light. She is so compassionate and kind, and thank you within this lovely community where we can share our experiences and let each other know, like, life is wow, but there are people out there willing to be vulnerable and share their hearts through it. And so you can meet some wonderful, wonderful people. Linda, you put down your numbers in the comments, and that's how I go to you. Isabel, you were next, I said. Oh, she's sending love and light to Jennifer. Jennifer is a sweetheart. I love Jennifer. Isabel, are you still there? Isabel, or in spirit, are you still there? Okay. And then, so Isabel, you are an attitude 3, you are personal day 9, and you are a life path 2. Let me just double check that. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So Isabel, if you have a question, let me know if you have a specific question. If not, I'm just going to read. Okay, so in spirit, you're going to be after. Thank you. Spirituality saved me 17 years ago. Yeah, spirituality. Woof. We come back online, right? We come back on. It's a powerful force. Okay. So Isabel, I'm gonna do a general with you, love, since I don't see a question or comment. Okay. So, where were you? All right. So you having an attitude 3, this means that you are a natural talker. Like, you're a natural talker. And again, like, we show different sides of ourselves to different people, but as long as you have this emotional connection with somebody, that you can talk to the people that you love or even just like for hours and hours and hours, just naturally. You always have something to talk about. You always have something to connect to. And there's like this just upbeat spirit that you have that you can bring to others, and people, they gravitate to that. They really do. You have a personal day 9. So that is like an old soul vibration where people, again, gravitate to you naturally because they feel like you have something to offer and they appreciate the way that you look at life. Even if they barely know you, they'll kind of gravitate to you and go like, what? Let me hear your opinion, or what are you about? Or they'll like compliment you. Like they'll just compliment you even though they don't really know much about you, and you'll be like, oh well, that's nice, thank you, thank you. And I love how you can understand this already. Cool. Well, you also have a life path too, so this means like you're very sensitive to others, very sensitive to others, as well as naturally you want the well-being of others. And so you're always trying to kind of uplift because you can feel how they feel, and then you just want them to smile and you want them to feel good. And so naturally very empathic, and like when they feel good, you feel good. So you're actually like a really big giver. I don't know how much you know that about yourself, but I want to validate within you if you've ever noticed like, wow, I kind of like can feel through other people at times where their happiness directly affects mine to such a degree where it's not just a notion or a saying. Please know that that's true. So with the ones that you love and the ones that are kind to you, oh my goodness, is it fun because you are just this natural love generator. And if they're happy and you're happy, it just creates this euphoric dynamic. So hopefully you are bringing people within your life, friends, family, and then your partner, where they can actually just match you somewhat, because it's a beautiful thing. You have to have people that give back to you because you give so much and you feel so much about them that if it's not a somewhat equal dynamic or somewhat generous dynamic back to you, it will drain you very easily. It will drain you very easily with the intimate and close relationships to you around you. So I would look at that very carefully, and I feel like you've already experienced that. But I'm just reminding you of. Okay. And you're saying you can understand this. Can you explore my current relationship too? And this is something I'm talking about. that was the direction I was going. Okay. So we were going there naturally. Well, I something that comes up is I see that you've been making some like diet changes, and this goes into where I'm going with relationship. Okay, so I see that you've been making some diet changes. I see that you've been like more so focused on your health and your understanding kind of the part that you play within the relationship. All right. So you've like been wanting to do like wellness or like really rise up, and I want to be the best I can be. So that's been being healthier with your body and understanding kind of like your emotions more and understanding what you bring to the table more. And I feel like that's been like kind of contested at times. So, and please, if you can understand this, let me know. If it's a no, tell me no. And I definitely feel it's an aspect of yes. You just let me know how much of a yes it is. Because when I'm in the energy, I'll just go, I know. But when I'm partially in the energy, I'll be like, can you take one or the other, both? That's what I'm asking. You said yes, I have, and it has been. Okay, so you can take both. All right, thank you. So what kind of the energy dynamic is continue to with like your sleep and your food and the consistency within your job. I feel like your job needs to have more consistency for you to be consistent, because I feel like everything in your life kind of connects, and that happens with life path 2 people. Sometimes like everything that they do in life, it's like this massive, I'm affected by this, I'm affected by that. And if I just have a partner who is stable, they could help, I guess, help me make sense of that, or help ground me through all the things that I feel throughout the day. But if you have a partner who doesn't know about that, or isn't energy sensitive, or isn't empathetic, what happens is, unless you have really good self-control and energy understanding of yourself, Isabel, you have to do all that internal work before you can connect to your partner on a neutral level. And so on one hand, that's really awesome, because you will actually get into like this really self-awareness, energy sensitive mastery of yourself and other people. And actually that would help you a lot in your job to be even more successful and perceptive. And people would love you even further because of how predictive you are with them and helpful you are with them. But on the other hand, within the relationship, if you have someone who's not growing and is not sensitive like you are, you'll continue to strengthen yourself. And that's a masculine trait. Strengthening yourself, forging yourself, sharpening yourself. And your partner won't know how to bring out the softness within you, because you're having to get a handle on yourself to enter the relationship with neutrality rather than open yourself up. And then he helps to nourish that and unfurl that. So those are some energy dynamics that I think are really important to think about, and to make sure that your partner is growing themselves too, and not just in physical health areas, but actually in emotional, psychological areas, and even spiritual areas. There will come a time where you definitely will just see if your partner can match you and respect you and understand you on that level, and there has to be a decision. But right now, I think it's about speaking the words and seeing how he's accountable and responsible for the changes that have to come across. And you said, yep, he doesn't want to go. So again, there's going to be the decision, the crossroads, right? And so if he's already certain of not growing, you have to grow. You're so sensitive that you can't help but grow. And he has to open up another area of himself to understand that that's very natural. We're all numb and shut down in some areas. No one's 100% sensitive in all categories. But when we unnumb ourselves, and when we become raw and vulnerable, and we're brave enough to, or we find that it's safe enough to, we go, wow, there's so much to grow in. And I'm aware of so many things now, because we're not protecting ourselves, we're not hardening ourselves. And that's when we can grow. But if we have a partner, it could be a friend or a family member even, that is still numb and hasn't taken the invitation to say, I want to grow, and you're already growing and you're already sensitive and you're already open, it creates a very, very difficult dynamic to have a relationship in. Yeah. And especially if you don't connect spiritually. So you're going to have to move forward, and then he's going to have to make some decisions. Either he's going to be like, okay, it's done. And wow, I have to change because I have no choice and I want this woman in my life. Or you're going to move on and you're going to find a different vibration that supports who you are. Because in relationships, we have to grow and we have to connect. And you're saying he doesn't want to grow and you don't connect. So understand these dynamics about yourself. Understand all this gorgeousness that I talked about earlier, of how you are coming into your power, your strength, and how people gravitate to you. And really continue to focus on yourself, because the more that you focus on yourself, if you're having inconsistencies in the relationship, the more you can go, this is what I want. And I'm strong enough now to understand this is who I am, so I have to choose this. And there you go. Yes, I can see a change happening. The more you change, the more you will bring change. The more we are of one way, we just naturally create that all around us. So Isabel, it doesn't seem like the dynamic is working. Continue to work on yourself and you will know what to do. It will take time. Don't worry. Just continue to focus on yourself. And then you just know. Then you just know. Or you inspire. You can only inspire by living an example of, when someone's not willing or open. Okay, so you might be the inspiration he needs by living an example of, but at the end of the day, you can't control that. But all roads, with a 2, so you're at life path 2. When a 2 is going through troubles, because they focus their energy on other people so much, they care so much, they put so much energy into their relationships, their life is about relationship fulfillment. It really is. But when they go, it's not working, and then they focus on themselves, it's almost like you have to do what's not instinctual at first to really go, how do I become even better a healer or a better empath or a better understanding of a person? You have to focus on yourself, because then you go, this is me and then this is them. And I know myself so well that when their energy comes into play, I know what's mine and what's theirs, and I take responsibility for what's mine. And if they're open to loving me, if they are open to working with me, whoa, am I going to be a powerful lover? And if they're not, well, I'm really aware of what's theirs, and that's not really what's working with what's mine. And when we are in our power, we inspire people. Again, we inspire people. And so some people can surprise us when we share energy. But all roads lead back to strengthening who you are as a two and being in your power. Absolutely. So I'm going to give you so much love. I'm going to do a quick within spirits. In spirits, I'm bopping to you. You are an attitude 4 in spirits. A personal day 4 as well. And then you are a life path 2. All right. So in spirit, I don't know if you're here or not. Absolutely, Isabel. Absolutely. In spirit, if you have a question, let me know if you have a question. If not, I'm going to do a general. Right away, I'm seeing you have a lot of balancing numbers. So you are someone who needs to be a planner, and for needs for things to be a little slower paced so you can account for all the details. And that's where your success will be. Certain people are very good. Again, I'd have to look at all your numbers, but certain people are very good with spontaneity and other people are not. And both are just as successful as long as they go by the rules that work for them. So your energy is not spontaneous. It needs to be felt through. It needs to be thought through. It needs to be like careful. But once you have those things, don't be afraid to act. Once you have what you need in place, you have to act, because literally you have everything that you need and you can't stop. You have to keep going. And so sometimes you can be an overthinker, a little bit of an overthinker. You said low on both. Well, then exactly. So like I always say, I have to look at the overall chart, because some people have 5s and 4s. And if you have 5s and 4s, or if you have other like people numbers, it makes you have some of those traits. But I'm at least acknowledging how sometimes you are super an overthinker sometimes. Even though you're both, sometimes you are very much an overthinker, if you can understand this. So I have to acknowledge that part of you exists, and actually rather strongly. But I will say that with at least I see it, because I have part of your chart, it bodes well for you to plan. Even though, again, all of a sudden you go, I know what to do, I'm going to act. You have to plan more than you're spontaneous, because that's what's going to give you some of the good stuff. You said, yes, definitely an overthinker, but I'm working on that. It's okay. As long as you're not, I want you to acknowledge you're a thinker. That's in your chart. That's in your energy. You got a double 4, girl. Like, I think you're a girl at least. You got a double 4, and you have to make peace with the fact that your natural state is for you to peruse, absorb knowledge, to get smarter, to size up things, to be strategic, to be methodical. It's very natural to be that way. It's very nice to have a more analytical side. You will catch things that other people just simply are not paying attention to. Relish in that about yourself. Yes, I'm a female here. Awesome. Relish that within yourself. But once you have that appeased, once you have that satisfied, correct. Act. Because the 4 in its highest form, it's a physical number. It's a very mental vibration, but in its highest form, it's a 4. And not every number in its highest vibration is grounded and needs to act, but a 4 does. A 4 is all about, I have thought these things and now I have to build. I know these things and now I have to do. It's time to be practical. It's time not to just think. So I want you to honor that beautiful thinking part of yourself and then honor the next step. And they really have to go hand in hand with one another. You are a life path too. So what you do within life has to be with others. You could be solo in your ambitions, but they have to be from a philanthropical, I cannot say that word right now, philanthropic place, or a healing place or helping place where you're helping other people stand up in who they are, or helping to quell something within inside someone. 2 is the healer number. It's the peacemaker. It's the mediator. So whatever you do, it has to be helping others be more of themselves too. And you can ping pong that. As you help someone become more of their self, you'll become more of yourself. Okay. But you're really made to help heal and restore those around you. Or if it's applied to an object, a business, or environment, you are made to create a safe space or an excellent product to heal people and make people feel and good and seen and heard, and to help them grow and heal. So as you can see, however it fits, these dynamics and energies are present, and I'm going to give you a little bit love within that. You are lastly in a cycle of 3. Okay, so this is a year where it's really good to get out and socialize. It's really good to get out and put yourself in front of others, because you will get opportunities that normally you have not had access to. Maybe this has already happened, but when someone has a cycle 3 like you do, it's basically like opportunity. We are more than just ourselves, and things percolate and doors open because it's a very social and moving frequency. So embrace that this year. This year is not over. You have more opportunities to come to you. Put yourself out there, be seen. And again, you have a lot of people to help. So I'm going to say that with you. I'm going to say thank you everybody for coming today. Take care. I will see you for the numerology hour and embracing infinity. So we'll be back soon enough. With that said, go with love, light, and luck. And don't forget to live, everybody. Take care. And before I go, you're saying I used to do healing on others, then got sick, and now I'm not sure where to focus. You're a healer, but it doesn't have to be the literal form of it. Okay? You're a healer. It doesn't have to be the literal form of it. Go out and heal in a different way. Lots of love, everybody. Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye.